You're listening to This Week in Real Estate with your host, Rob Golfi. Brought to you by the Golfi Team at RE/MAX Escarpment, featuring Conrad Zarini, broker-owner of RE/MAX Escarpment Realty Inc., and Brian Hogben, owner of Mission 35 Mortgages. Let's hear what's going on in real estate this week.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, so I did a little bit of a check to see the list to sell ratios. I think we're going back to normal list to sell ratio percentage like 2019. And I think this fall, I think is a great time for people to buy a house. For buyers, I think it's good. If you're going to buy a house, this is the time to do it, because you got time to put a condition on there, condition on inspection, condition on financing. Because I know earlier this year, a lot of people got stuck with a lot of houses that had problems with it, and they couldn't put an inspection clause in there. And chances are, and here's my prediction, I think if you do buy a house this fall, next year that house will probably be worth 3 to 5% more, or 7% more in the spring. In that February, March, April, that's where the really crazy time that happens usually in there every year, is when the activity starts happening. So I don't know, guys, are flippers still making money in this business, or what do you think?
I know with our clients, the joke is sometimes the only people that make money are the realtors and the mortgage brokers when they're flipping a house. I think to your point, Rob, I think you're bang on with people buying a house right now, because we're seeing a little bit of a pause with the election, a little bit of, and maybe even those flippers too. Like, do I get a house now? Do I not get a house? Is there going to be more tax involved? I think it's just hard to get that property still right now. I think it's hard to find the flipper property right now.
Oh, it is. I think flippers were used to making 75 to 150,000 on the flip. Like they're used to that big jump, that big profit level, and now it's hard to find them. And then everybody's bidding for those houses. Like we have a house that was a hoarder house, 300,000. And we sold it for over 5. Like, and then if that house was fixed up, you might get a little over 600,000 for it, but it may take you 75,000 to, it depends what kind of trade you are or what trades it's going to cost you to hire. But the margins are becoming smaller and smaller for those flippers.
Yeah. Well, you know what the flipper is going to, if they pivot and shift to more of a higher price point, homes with a pool, homes with a pool, higher price point. There was something in the East End the other day, like in Rosedale, that was I think 1.6, and I think it went for over 1.7. Pool, it was stunning. They did a beautiful job. Nice. So I'm telling you, I think they got to move up to another level. They may have to tie up more capital, but you can when you get to the higher end, like you can start to make those numbers that you're talking about, because look, today in the Spectator, the story about pools, like there was normally 380 pool permits in Hamilton. I think there's 584 or 600 this year. This guy was talking about a guy giving him extra 10 grand to put the pool in, and the whole job is 500,000. So you know what I mean? The backyard, 500 grand. So listen, there's still a lot of emotion. I'm a strong believer in that upper end. I think that upper end's still going to be strong, and people want turnkey.
Right? Absolutely. I truly believe the turnkey are going to get the money. But what have you noticed, like in the past probably 6 months or more, the letters you get in the mail, I'll buy your house for cash.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, you live in Hamilton, right, Brian?
Yep.
Yeah, and Conrad, I know you're in Burlington, and so in Hamilton, they're sending these letters out like crazy. Like, and everybody, for some reason, everybody's copying everybody else. Oh, let's handwrite it and make it look like it's personal.
Yeah. And photocopy it 10,000 times. Yeah.
There you go. Like that one house just got that one. Meanwhile, the whole freaking city got it.
I got it in Burlington, downtown Burlington. I got two of them. Yeah, my daughter ran in and said, "Hey, somebody wrote us a note."
They want to buy your house for cash. That's it.
Well, we're seeing that a lot with investors, because to the flipping, what we're seeing a lot of people do now is they're trying to find that house not on market, which, as you know, Rob, like that's such a disservice if you just sell it privately. With the market today, you got to sell with a realtor. But they're doing this new BRRRR strategy that a lot of the middle end flippers are doing, where they're buying the house, they're renovating it, then they're refinancing it. Because the appreciation's been up so much, I think that actually affects the supply a lot too, because some of the flippers have converted to this strategy where they're buying it, renovating, refinancing, and then renting it. And then it doesn't go back on the market. So now these people, because now they're able to, with the price appreciation and the lift, they're actually able to refinance, get all their money out of the property or most of it. And it's like having zero. It's like taking your winnings off the table at the casino. And you're just like, okay, I'm going to take it to the next one now.
Yeah.
That's what my son Phil's doing. He bought one. He's almost finished it on Dundurn. And he's going to, whatever he put into it, he's going to, get the money back and go on to the next project. And he's done that, I think, 2 or 3 times. And he keeps them. He doesn't sell them. He just keeps them and puts them out. Just like you said, he's doing that. So how many people are doing that? Just renovating and refinancing and going on to the next project. And that's how they build their real estate portfolio. I know you're right. It is a disservice. If anybody is selling to anybody that is sending them a letter, get a realtor there, because chances are they can get $50,000 to $100,000 more on that. So it's it's crazy. It's crazy. So anybody watch the debate? Because I only saw 2 minutes of it, but anyway.
I'm like a sports fan. I watch the highlights in the morning, Rob. Like, I can't sit through that. Just see who scored, who didn't, who got a penalty.
That's it.
That's all.
That's tough to watch.
Oh my God!
And I can't believe there was 2 French language ones.
Oh, no kidding.
We had 2 French, and that was, with the translation, it was tough to watch.
Oh, you know what? They just, I don't know. I just 2 minutes of it, and I said, I can't take this anymore. This is painful. So here's what, I guess what, Elton Ash from RE/MAX, he's executive vice president. I don't believe the government should always get involved unless there's an economic crisis, which there is not in this case. Elton Ash, Executive Vice President RE/MAX Canada, said in a missive on the company's website, where should government involvement lie? In assisting developers build product and removing red tape. We need less government intervention, not more. We need less taxation, not more. A supply side of solution needs to be a collaborative effort across all 3 levels of government. And it's true. They like over here, RE/MAX acknowledges that Canada has housing affordability crisis, suggests that the solution could come from a national housing strategy. We talked about this before. The red tape in doing anything, and the cost to build is crazy. So here's what RE/MAX, here's what the government's done so far. They introduced the mortgage stress test. Has that changed housing prices?
You know what? I was looking at that, and I would say if anything, it just made it harder, because the stress test, it was introduced in 2017 and the rate was 464. You had to qualify for, and then rates were like, you're getting 2.5 variables. Now the rate's lower. We're almost 5 years into the stress test, right? We're almost 5 years into it. Rates are lower and the stress test is higher.
Yeah.
So I get that we were protecting people in theory, but it didn't really do anything. But like the rates never got higher than what people were qualifying at. If anything, it just made it very, very affordable for people who can, and more unaffordable for people who can't.
And then never underestimate the resilience of the Canadian home buyer, right? Nothing in 2008 when there was the crisis in the US. we had a little hiccup for about Q1 of 2009, maybe.
Yeah.
Like they'll find the money in the bank of mom and dad and the equity of their parents. It just keeps motoring along, right?
So so also they put it in effect. This is 2017. Is it higher foreign buyer tax? So they did that. It really affected maybe more in Toronto and Vancouver. It didn't really. I don't think we had any, foreign people buying.
We had a couple professors that were teaching at Mac that got hit with it, but other than that, no, nothing major.
Well, it's like, and like the high end market. I think you've said this before, Conrad. The high end market, like money that's coming in from overseas. They're buying a luxurious penthouse. They're not buying a starter home on Barton Street to park their money.
And they have they have all the money. They're not even borrowing any money. So added to it, who cares? The market moves at one speed. That 15% will get eaten up in 18, 19 months. It's
no kidding. And then taxing vacant houses. So they implemented those three things. Yeah. Nothing has changed in the market.
No.
Now, this is what they want to do: ban foreign buyers for 2 years. So basically, if you're a foreign buyer that wants to buy, how do you? Is that people moving in? They can't buy for 2 years, or is that somebody out of the country that wants to buy in Canada? They have to.
They'll make it prohibited. Like you can't buy
unless you have like a PR card, I would assume. So unless you have like and there's certain mortgage qualifications, unless you're PR status, permanent resident, that's probably where we fall in.
Look, if they've got a relative here, come on, there's go around a million times. They get a relative here, they do a trust agreement in behind. God bless you. Like what's gonna like?
I know.
Like that one's weak.
And then ban blind bidding. I think this is going to cause a lot of problems.
Absolutely. That would bid it up more, would it not? Like, would that not make, because if it's an open bid and auctioning, now I know what the highest bid is. And if I want to go higher, would that not make it go even higher?
No, because what happens is sometimes there's a huge gap between the first first offer and the second best offer. There could be a 50, even sometimes 150,000 gap between the two. That's what they were trying to stop. Yeah. But the auction is actually, I think it's good and it's bad, but I think and there's good and bad in both. So if you change it, we're going to have other problems. So you're not going to stop any problem.
Well, Australia has it. Right?
Yes.
An example of it. Yeah. Their prices from 1998 to 1993 to 2018 went up 412%. And they project, and now these are 2018 numbers, right? So they said 25 years to 2043, a single family home in all of Australia would be close to about almost 3 million Australian dollars, about 2.6 million Canadian. Wow. And in Sydney, we're talking like 6 or 7 million. Condos, they're talking about being like a condo, apartment style condo, average price in Australia over 2 million. And that they didn't even take into consideration the big boom. Q1 in Australia of 2021, they went up 7% in Q1 in just one quarter. The thing is, Rob, you're right. But the problem is that emotion comes. So, you may have that leapfrog guy that goes really heavy. But when you're all bidding, you're going to get to that. Yeah. You're going to get to that leapfrogger, right? You know what I'm saying? Or the leapfrogger is going to go really high and spook everybody. So it's not going to change. Not going to change anything to do with the pricing at all.
No. And then also they want to higher taxes on people who flip properties.
I think to Conrad's point, people find a way, right? People find a way. Like if you're going to be buying and flipping, you're going to change your house insurance, make it your principal residence.
Well, they're going to be they're going to be watching that too. I think because a lot of that has happened in the last 3-4 years, people building a house every year or every 2 years and moving. The government's looking at that as a business. Like they want that tax money, that gain that they made. And I get it. I understand. But flipping, flipping houses.
Rob, the Conservatives got a good one, though. They have a really good one I like, which is on multi-unit res. You'll have a time period. So you can sell the multi-unit res. You can sell your 9-unit, let's say, or like a 3-unit. Okay. You can sell your 3-unit and you can parlay that into a 9-unit and not pay capital gains on the 3-unit. So like, I think we got to start talking about some of the, like definitely, I don't want to, color code this thing, but the Liberals have definitely, it's very oppressive, punitive actions. Whereas you can see that Conservatives are looking at, hey, wait a minute, let's look at this. The problem, let's be surgeons. It's multi-unit res. We all know in this chat here that multi-unit res, everybody puts extra money in to pay the capital gains. That will be non-existent anymore. Okay, and as long as you parlay it into another multi-unit res, you're in good shape, because the capital gains on that artificially increases the price, and capital gains on principal residences will artificially increase the price again, because they're going to look. I want to make this net the capital gains. It ain't going to do anything about price. It's only going to raise it.
That would help supply move quicker though too, Conrad. I think because it's similar to like a 1031 exchange in the States, right?
That's exactly
now. The smaller investor who's got a duplex, triplex can level up instead of just holding. Instead of hoarding houses, it allowed them to move houses. It's really
absolutely good idea. They can upgrade and everything. That's awesome. That is awesome. Hey guys, we're out of time. Brian Hogbin, mission35.com, mortgage expert. Give him a call. Conrad Zerini, broker owner, Remax Escarpment and Remax Niagara, one of the best brokers around. Great trainer, runs a great operation. And guys, see you next week. Thanks for listening, whoever is on. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.